Just moments away from puck drop here on FATV and the Falcon Sports Network. Fitchburg State and Salem State meeting for the second time in ice hockey this season. Let's talk a little bit about the starting goaltenders. And we'll start with Salem State as they'll go to Sean Cleary for his 13th start of the season. 2-8-2, 409 goals against, 886 save percentage. Those numbers ranking quite low in the conference, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, Sean Cleary, not the best season so far for him. 409, that's 9th in the conference in goals against average. It's been a rough go of it from the net so far this season. We'll see how they're able to face off today against this young Falcon offense.
The second-year Viking, the transfer from UMass Lowell, getting the nod again for the Vikings today. For the Falcons, it's the junior netminder Brian McGrath, who continues his stellar play. His 13th start of the season, 7-2-2 goals against, 210 goals against, 942 save percentage. He leads the MASCAC in darn near everything.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's ranked first. I think the only thing that he... Actually, no, I believe he is first in the three big ones: win percentage, save percentage, and goals against average. So this has been a big part of the Falcons' game this season, is being able to rely on him solid in net, as he has been doing Brian McGrath things.
As he has been, there seems to be a bit of a delay as one of the referees is knocking on the Zamboni doors. There's something they've noticed that they want to get fixed. And they knock a second time, and this time someone's there to answer the door. What exactly it could be, I couldn't tell you, but there's something that obviously they want to get rectified. For both of these teams, they give up 36 shots a game, 35.6 to be a little more exact. And for Salem, it's been a bit of a surprise. 2-10-2 for them this year. They're one of the more dominant teams normally in the conference. Last year, they made it to the conference championship game as basically an underdog, a 6 seed, upsetting two teams along the way to get to Plymouth. And even the year before, 6 seed, they pulled an upset to draw Fitchburg in the semifinals before the Falcons dispatched them. And before that, they were back-to-back MASCAC champions. So Salem State, they come in with a lot of history, but this year, history has not shown well on them.
It hasn't, but you got to remember that this is a team coached by their head coach, Bill O'Neill, who's been with the team for 39 seasons. And so they're always going to have that nugget of experience that he's going to be able to dispel on them. So they're going to be able to play a good brand of hockey any given night.
You're not going to find a coaching tenure longer in Division III than with Bill O'Neill, as that one dumped into the zone and covered by Cleary for a draw 20 seconds in. Cleary wearing an alternate captain patch there. You can do that in college hockey. Can't do it in the NHL.
Which I always disagree with. Why can't a goalie be a leader on a team?
It's because the captains and alternate captains have codified roles that involves them talking with the referees.
Yeah.
But I still think they should be allowed to at least wear the patch symbolically. In any case, Salem will dump in from the red line. Derek Scroggin sends it all the way around the boards. Trevor Mallett picks it up on the right side. Floated around to the left wing corner. Or Fitchburg trying to poke it out. They've got their top line out. They started their third line. As on the left side, Salem continue to try to hold it against the boards. Billy McGuinn down there for Salem, trying to push out in front, a chance there. McGrath holding firm, battening down the hatches. And the Falcons pull it out of the zone. Come all the way back down to the Salem end. Where the Vikings trying to push it up ice. Michael Shippey in the left circle, drops it off for McGuinn. McGuinn centering, looking for a one-timer. Nobody out there in front deep in the slot. On the right side, there's a deep scoring chance there. McGuinn with the shot saved by McGrath. Another shot, another rebound by McGrath. He's down, scrambling. Puck is loose and away from McGrath, away from danger. Bergman flips it out of the zone. 2 shots already for the Vikings, 90 seconds into this contest. Vicario picks up on the left side. Pops it into the zone. Falcons change a couple personnel behind the play. And Vicario goes flying as he tried to make a hit there on Luke Pepin, but Pepin got out of the way. Vikings will try to bring it up on the near side, and Cam Ryan. Ryan on the near side, pushed in the boards by Wyatt Wilmshurst. Poked on towards McGrath. He'll float it away. Egan Wolford into the contest. Comes to the near side for Gene Bouthiette. Lost a handle on it. Pushed out to the far side. Vikings only able to get it to the neutral zone and no farther. Wilmshurst dumps it back in. And that is played with a high stick, they will rule. So the faceoff's going to come to one side of Sean Cleary. 17:47 to go in the first. No score.
Chance here for the Falcons. They haven't had anything going first 2 minutes here. It's been all Vikings in the offensive end. Now chance offensive faceoff.
Falcons go with that energy line. Boomer Miller to take the draw for the green and gold. Kevin Perry and Trent Shanley part of that as well. Holmes will dump it in and put that into the 5th row. And so we'll get a face-off outside the zone.
Yeah, there's a bit too much on it there from Holmes. Cleared the ice, cleared the glass rather, as went into the stands.
So Boomer Miller to take the draw. One of 2 Millers on this team. Josh Miller's the other one. Miller listed on your rosters as Joseph Miller, but he's gone by Boomer for a long time. And besides, how many letters can you put on the back of the name if you made him go by Joseph on the back?
Yeah, they share the same first 3 letters of their first names, and so that certainly wouldn't work either.
Icing will be called. 17:16 to go in the first. Draw will come back down to a side of Cleary. Scratches for the Falcons today. Falcons have 25 players. You can dress 22, 19 skaters, 3 goalies. So the scratches, Bryce Ubel scratched as the goalie, Brian Glover on defensive, Patrick Sullivan. Those 3 will be playing the roles of Sir not playing in this game today. Falcons win the draw from the point. A shot is blocked out in front of a lot of Vikings there. That pushed off the glass, pinballs all the way up, strikes the ceiling. That'll kill play. .251 gone in this contest, no score. Shots are 2-0 in favor of the Vikings. Falcons haven't had a good shot on Cleary yet. Seolin to take the draw. Wins it out to Saboyu for Joff Lamore. Lamore with the shot deflected up in the air and away from the goal. Mitchell Wally, the tallest player in all of Division III hockey, 6 feet 8 inches tall. Played that one along. Listed as a defenseman, but he's been playing exclusively as a forward since he's joined Fitchburg State. This one sent down the ice. And Cleary will just turn around and grab his water bottle as icing will be called there.
And I mean, this Wally-Seolin line, this is a combo I liked. Last game, they scored the combination backdoor pass from Seolin to El Wally, getting him his first goal. So certainly looking forward to what they can do today now, especially with Zerbe back in the mix.
Zerbe, the lone captain on this Falcon squad as well. He helps lead this 3rd line for the green and gold. El Wally's got to try to get past the one Viking there, squeezing him in Scroggins couldn't do so. Now at the red line, Mallet. Across to the right side. And Scroggins throws it around the boards. McGuinn makes a touch on it, gets it back, tries to center, take a really bad angle shot, nothing going there. And once again, the puck knocked out of play. 16:11 to go in the first period. Still no score.
Yeah, puck hasn't been settled down too much. It's been flying all over the zone. We haven't seen a whole lot of setup from either side throughout this game so far.
One of our referees having a word with Brian McGrath. Wonder what that would be about. Falcons win the draw as Anton Medalev around for Reese Bergman. Got 1 touch on it. Ryan Murphy, he's the leading scorer for the Falcons. Couldn't continue it along. Josh Miller back in his own end. Up for Hunter Forden. Forden gains the zone, but illegally Reese Bergman jumped the line, and offsides will be called. This game's got no flow right now.
No, it doesn't. Hunter losing the puck even on as he entered the zone there, causing Bergman to be shaken on the timing of it.
Vikings will change up the personnel. Falcons fine with the 5 they've got on the ice. So it's poked back to Josh Miller. On the near side, holding it. Cross ice, Murphy. Around, going to try to find Bergman in the right corner. Does so, knocks it along for Forden. Forden battling with Matt Yanakopoulos. The Vikings able to take control of the puck on the near side, trying to get it out of the zone, but 2 Falcons there to pinch and keep it in. As Forden tried to find Miller, that one intercepted by Brandon Wolf. Wolf takes it by himself up the right side. Has some numbers, so double back and wait for them to come in and set up. On the right side, that's a dangerous chance and a good shot there by Callum Hofford, but it goes high in the net.
Oh, that was the best look at the game there from Hofford as he had it in the slot. McGrath wasn't exactly square. This is going to be tough to look back on if this game ends up coming down to a goal.
Definitely seemed like he had trouble settling it on his stick. If he took the shot immediately, he was surely going to have a goal. He had a lot of empty net to shoot at. As that one goes up and out of play. How many times have we had a puck knocked out of play now?
Quite a few.
Yep. These boards aren't high enough to contain it. 14:49 to go in the first, no score, 2-0. The shots remain in favor of the Vikings. Both of these teams, as we mentioned, conceding an average of about 36 shots per game. As Fitchburg bring it up from Bouthiette. Bouthiette on the right side, shoots into from the circle, and it's kicked away by Sean Cleary, his first save of the contest.
Good stop by Bouthiette. Unfortunately for Fitchburg, no one home to sweep home that rebound.
Jordan Holmes pushes it to the far side, taken by the deep pair, Callum Hofford, one of the leaders of this Viking squad. Passed up ice, Amon Miller with a shot, but it goes off the stick of Holmes and into the netting, and yet again, another puck is sacrificed over the boards.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It's just been a style of play so far. Nothing's been clean so far in this game. A lot of bodies getting in the way, deflecting things where no one intended them. No one intends them onto that of bounds. And of course, the excess traffic in all the passing lanes has made it difficult so far today.
Scroggins takes a shot off the draw. That's blocked in front. Perry clears the zone. He comes all the way back to Scroggins. Perry can't pick it up on the red line, and a 2-on-1 for the Vikings. Shot saved by McGrath. But another chance from Joe Smith. Couldn't get another shot on. As it comes to Smith behind the net. Smith looking to center, look for a redirect. With the Viking cutting the goal in Mallets. He couldn't get his stick cleanly on it. Shanley will carry it out of the zone. Punch it off the glass to the left side. Perry tries to center. 3 players in the slot, all Vikings. Floated back into the right wing corner for Trent Shanley. Shanley pushed in the boards by Scoggins. Now cleared out to the red line. Josh Miller dumps in. Falcons will change behind the play. Vikings will take their time here with 13:15 to go in the first. Brought up to the red line, dumped in and around the boards. Cam Ryan, the first to arrive for the Vikings. Hopped over his stick. And Zerbe trying to feed out Wally. Got a stick on it, and it ends up getting directed towards the goal. And taking no chance there is Cleary. An unconventional shot, but you take it nonetheless. 7 minutes gone, no score.
And that's what's nice about being 6'8". You have the length, you can reach out, you can deflect that puck. Not everyone's going to be able to get a stick on that, but he does, and opportunity coming here for the Falcons.
Ziola to take the draw for the Falcons. Won it to nobody, and it's picked up by Ryan. Cam Ryan on the left side, shot off the side of the net. Josh Miller will carry it up on the far side. Pushed up for Zerbe. Wally gets on one knee, gets his skate on the blue line, keeps it onside. This puck goes behind the net. Zerbe battling with Hofford. Wally backhands it behind the net. Comes to Seolin on the right side. Kept in by Josh Miller. Shot goes wide to the right. Wally sticks it along, nobody there in the right corner. Richard Coyle made his Viking debut in the last game and scored in what was a loss for Salem State, 6-2 to the Westfield State Owls. As Yannikopoulos dumps it around, picked up by the Vikings on the right side. Shot goes through the paint, but not on target from Dan Shea. Shippey on the right side, knocking it along. And there goes another one.
We got cameras up here. We gotta tell the players to watch out. Fans up here as well.
A lot of souvenirs for everybody today. Can't remember if we still send people to go and retrieve the pucks that go into the stands. We may have to start doing that.
Yeah.
Face-off brought around to the far side boards in the Falcons zone. Josh Miller off the boards, and that takes a strange bounce off the boards and goes into the penalty box, I think?
I believe it hit the glass just in front of the penalty box. Sparing pitcher Richie Sharp from any incoming rubber.
Richie Sharp, a standout pitcher on the Falcon baseball team. His brother Keegan just joined the basketball team a couple weeks ago.
And he's been a good sight to see so far for the Falcons.
The funny part was until Keegan Sharp had joined the basketball team for the last year and a half, Mitchell Wally was the tallest athlete at Fitchburg State at 6'8". Keegan Sharp is 6'9". A couple chances for Salem, another good one. That goes off the post. A great shot from Amon Miller, but just inches away from making it 1-0. Vikings having a little bit of trouble getting it out of the zone. Wolford keeps it in. Murphy trying to set up on his stick, and a shot taken by Fortin, stopped by Cleary.
Good job. One of the few chances Fitchburg has had so far. Good job by both Murphy and Fortin, hustling through to get a shot off.
Holmes, he just got his first collegiate goal 3 nights ago against Becker College. Had a shot that was deflected wide. Vikings will try to carry it up. It's just one in Spencer DeRitter. He's got a reinforcement to his left in Ryan Tierney. Tierney's got it now, lost it on his stick for a moment, floats it out to the left. Shot deflected towards goal, but not a whole lot of pace. Waldusky with the shot, McGrath with the stop. 10:36 to go in the first, no score.
And it didn't have a whole lot of speed, but that's still a puck. It was deflected off of a Fitchburg stick. That's still something that could have caught McGrath off guard. Say he was expecting his teammate to fully stop it, so still good awareness from the junior there.
Draw comes to the right of McGrath. He's got 6 saves in this contest. Sent around by Joff Lamore, kept in by the Vikings. Saboyu backhands it around to Wilmshurst. Kicked in and kept in the zone. Wilmshurst will try again to clear it. Does so successfully. Tried to find Bouthier, tried to feed it back to Wilmshurst, but intercepted instead. As there's a shot that involves out of play again. Derek Scoggins had the last shot there for the Vikings. 10:08 to go in the first. 7-3 the shots are now in favor of Salem. A bit of a slow start for the Falcons in this one.
It has been. Salem's been doing a good job breaking it out whenever the puck's gotten in their zone, and they've been giving Fitchburg a tough time clearing it, as whenever it's been dumped out of the Fitchburg zone, Salem usually right back on top of it, throwing it back in down deep.
These two teams met earlier this year. The Falcons won that meeting 3-1. Ryan Murphy had all 3 goals for the green and gold.
Those all coming in the second period for him.
I believe it was a natural hat trick as well.
I believe so.
Salem pick it up on the right side from Shippey. Shippey trying to find Cam Ryan. Lost it in his skates. Poked out of the zone, and here's a rush for the Falcons. Kevin Perry into the zone. Perry trying to put it on goal, maybe looking for a redirection from Shanley, and out of the reach of both. Turned over there by the Vikings for a brief moment. Falcons couldn't capitalize. Perry takes it at the red line, dumps back in, settled down by Hofford. Hofford brings it up, gains the zone. Going all by himself, the defenseman. Falcons squeeze him off. Perry, red line for Murphy. Murphy into the zone. Cuts back, takes a nice shot. It's a good move there by Murphy to get that opportunity, but Cleary was ready for it.
Yeah, that was a nice cutback there by Ryan Murphy, and stopping, trying to get the goalie to stop and get him off his footing. A good save there by the netminder for Salem, Cleary.
4 saves for the senior. From Barnstable, the former UML Riverhawk. Standing strong early for the Vikings. Wolf up the left side, trying to feed Landon Hassenfuss. The shot goes off the side of the net. And Salem keeps control. At the left point, Pepin keeps it in the zone. Pepin gets it back on the pass. So it goes to the right wing corner. Wolf looking around. They keep trying those behind the back one-time feeds for someone in the slot, but they haven't been able to capitalize on any of them yet.
I was going to say, that was a good look there. He got it out in front. It wasn't really obstructed by any Falcon, but there's no Viking there to pick it up and slam it home.
Icing called against the Vikings with 8:18 to go in the first.
So the thing for Salem, if they're going to keep trying that, if the guy in front goes down low, they need to know to switch, throw somebody in front in his place, get ready to receive that puck, and then finish it off. Fitchburg getting away with it so far.
Because if you can get those one-timers off, they have a very high degree of success. Draw controlled by the Falcons. Out to the points and Holmes. Holmes trying to put it maybe intentionally wide, trying to find out Wally. Couldn't do so, but Falcons keep control of it. Taken from the left point, a shot ends up getting blocked out in front. Vikings will push it up and around. Only just noticed, because of the Falcons' numbers crunch, Adam Kuzior, who is listed as a forward, is playing as a defenseman today. And again, compared with the fact that Wally, who's listed as a defenseman, is playing as a forward. That's something he's always been doing since joining the Falcons. There's a chance for the Vikings. They score! Spencer to Ritter! The freshman from Rochester has his second goal of the season. And that opens the scoring for Salem State.
And that's just a bad break for Fitchburg. I mean, if we were to take a look at it, it was off of the skate of Kusior, it looked like. That puck was going towards the opposite corner. Adam Kusior brought it back in with his leg, gave it right back, and then it was then put back in by Olsen.
So the Vikings strike first. About 12 and a half minutes into this contest. Olsen gets the assist on that one.
Pardon me.
As DeRitter gets his second goal of the season. And Trey Olsen, the senior defender, gets just his second point of the season, his second assist. Rochester, New York is where DeRitter hails from, as he's got the first strike for the Vikings. That one passed on the left side, held in by Hofford. Not that time, though, over his head. Cleared all the way down. Falcons will get fresh legs. Matt Yannikopoulos, long stretch pass picked up there by Ryan. Ryan out in front. And another push towards goal, but McGrath able to stop that one. That last touch there from Michael Shippey, the freshman from Seattle, Washington. Falcons had a four-year player from Seattle, Washington, and Michael Fretz. He graduated last year. The Falcons control the draw. Anton Medalev out to the near side, then pushed forward. Bouthiette on the right side, looking for a centering pass, but cut down by many Vikings in the way. And the puck ends up going all the way around and back out to center and beyond. Wilmshurst, along for Bouthiette. Bouthiette on the near side, tangle up, penalty gonna be called here. Gonna have our first power play of the game. There's a shot, a goal! Joshua Miller! Puck came right out to him, he snipes it from the top of the right wing circle. The Falcons tie it, 1-1, and they're going on the power play.
And lucky break for Fitchburg. They're still going to get a power play off of this, as it was a delayed penalty. McGrath was on his way to the bench, but even before he could get there, puck came over to Miller, and I didn't see who exactly it was, but a Falcon leaping out of the way as Miller unleashed a shot, and it found its way. It looked like it went past the right pad of the goaltender Cleary, just finding a seam inside. And like you said, Dan, power play coming here for Fitchburg.
That's a rule in the NCAA that if on a delayed call the team with the advantage scores, they still get the power play. Doesn't work like that in most other levels of hockey, but here it does. Big momentum shift for the Falcons as Josh Miller gets his first collegiate goal. From the left dot, shot saved by Cleary. Rebound poked free and out. Murphy had the last shot for the Falcons on that one. Cam Ryan in the box, I presume, for tripping after all that.
Yeah, he brought down Bouthiette. I remember seeing on the far sideboards.
1:25 to go on the power play. 5:15 to go in the first period. 1-1 the score now. Bergman can't keep it in on his skates and spin all the way down by the Vikings. McGrath behind his own net. He's looking to play it on. We'll leave it for Joff Lamore. Salem trying to get to that puck, couldn't win the race to it, and dumped back down again. Falcons' power play, though, has struggled this season. Only 50 chances, and they've only scored 7 times. It's 14%, near the bottom of the conference. Salem's kill, though, is in the bottom third of all D2 and D3 teams. 35 seconds, though, to go on the power play as the Falcons regain the zone. Joshua Miller pokes it back to the point. Wilmshurst, wide one-timer. That one never really got a lot on it. Big sound and big clap, but not a lot from Salem there.
Yeah, he got spun up. A Viking came in and disrupted the play at the last moment. I expected the puck to be shot on net, but instead it was cleared right back out.
Miller will dump in. Cleary will take no chances. He'll hold for a draw with 4:04 to go in the first. We're level at 1.
And good quick re-entry there, try and salvage the final 9 seconds here. It's enough time to set up in the offensive zone, get a good look on net here.
Do we have an official scoring on the goal for the Falcons?
Official scoring on that goal for Fitchburg. It looks like credit's going to be given to Joshua Miller, assisted by Vicario, as Cleary saves a shot from Shanley off the draw.
Now 7 seconds to go on the power for the Falcons. The first power play chance for either side tonight. And as we mentioned, for Josh Miller, the freshman from St. Augustine, Florida, he's got his first collegiate goal. That's one thing about having so many freshmen on the roster for Fitchburg State, is so many first collegiate goals. How many pucks have we had to save?
How many pucks have we lost over the glass today?
Icing called against the Falcons, now down to 3:48 to go in the first. And Vicario getting his 4th assist of the season, his 39th career assist in his 74th career game. Draw will come to the right of McGrath, as Joe Smith takes the draw for Salem State, but loses the draw. Wolford tried to dump it out, kept in. Ball loose in the slot as Holmes tried to kick it away. Holmes able to recover it. Now for Wolford. Put up the ice and put on goal. Cleary will cover that one with 3:27 to go in the first. Shots now level at 9 apiece. Mentioned the Falcons coming off a 7-0 win over Becker College. Salem coming off a 6-2 loss to Westfield State 2 nights ago. Kuzior trying to take the shot off the draw, and we have a Viking down. Looks like Billy McGuinn took a shot there. Going to be helped off the ice, putting no weight on that left leg. McGuinn, the sophomore from Rochester, New York, was a teammate of Spencer DeRitter, our goal scorer. They're both from the same hometown, both have the same former junior team in the Rochester Monarchs. McGuinn with 5 goals on the season, tied for the team lead with Callum Hofford. He leads all forwards in scoring on this Viking team. Would be painful in more ways than one for Salem State if they were to lose the services of McGuinn for this contest. We'll hope he's all right. Hooked out of the zone by Dan Shea all the way down ice. On his horse racing there was Cam Ryan. Got a backhand shot, but it goes off the side of the net. Puck on the far side boards, pinned in by Jocelyn Moore, and we have a whistle and a hold indicated.
Going to be going against Salem here. Dan Shea.
Falcons are going to go back on the power play as Shea takes his 6th penalty of the season. Falcons now 0 for 1 on the power play, as we mentioned, rolling at just 14%. Not as strong as they'd like it to be. Murphy will take the draw for the Falcons. Ends up getting knocked along by Forden for Vicario. Now for Forden behind the net. Rolling to the left corner. Hops over the stick there of Murphy. Unable to be kept in. Falcons have to regroup and reset. And they were able to do that as Forden again around the boards for Vicario. Try the same thing. See if we can get it set up right this time. Murphy for Forden. On the right side, one-timer by Perry, stopped by Cleary, and the puck ricochets out of play. 2:22 to go in the first. 1:28 to go on the penalty to Shea. 1-1 the score.
Nice job tracking that puck across the crease by Sean Cleary. He was moving from his right to his left as he was able to make the sliding stop, not being able to square it up in time.
And say a face-off violation there, I believe. Some encroachment on the circle. The back official blows the play dead. And we'll do it again. Falcons will win that draw as Perry sticks it along. Pepin hitting against the boards. 3 Falcons trying to dig it out. Yanakopoulos joins for Salem. The Falcons will win that scrum. As Lamore around to Perry. Perry at the right circle. Tries to go cross ice. Goes off the skate of Murphy. And behind the net now Vicario. Tries to find Perry in the slot. It comes back to Vicario. Takes a shot. Pinballs out in front. Doesn't get all the way to Cleary. Clearing chance broken up by Murphy. Keeps it in the zone. 50 on the power play.
Pepin tried to clear it, but he launched it into Murphy's body.
There goes yet another puck. As they were looking for that redirection in the slot. Goes off of Vicario's stick. Ends up going over the netting. And strikes one of the HVAC units. Falcons will get their second power play unit out there with 100 seconds to go in the first period. Shots now 10-9 in favor of the Falcons. Wolford out to Joshua Miller. He's the goal scorer for the Falcons. Seolan shot, saved by Cleary. Back to Seolan. Wilmser shot, save Cleary. Rebound shot, another save, and another one. Into the net, it's a goal! Cleary just couldn't cover it up. After 4 or 5 chances, the Falcons finally broke it home, and they lead for the first time tonight.
And a lot of frustration from Salem on that goal. We saw Landon Hassenfuss talking to the referee after the fact. There was just so much going on. Cleary with several saves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, couldn't cover it up. And Salem felt as if there should have been some whistle at some point, but good eyes by the referee. They're able to keep track of it and actually know for a fact that it was not covered, know that the puck was loose. We're discussing now, but my hunch is that this will stand. And it will.
Reese Bergman led the handshake line for the green and gold. Bergman from Wilmshurst is the official scoring on that one. There's a shot from the left circle, stopped by Cleary. Puck behind the net. Dangerous positioning there as Joshua Miller. At the right point, finds some space, look for a redirection, ends up whistling high of the net. Medalev in the left corner, under a minute to go in the period. Around the boards on the right side. Yanakopoulos nudging it along, trying to find Coyle. Vikings have their top line looking for a response. Shanley can't clear it. Kept in by Yanakopoulos. Circling around, gets a shot on, kicked away by McGrath. Coyle in the right wing corner, poked out to Perry, tries to clear, will do so. Trent Shanley on a breakaway. Shanley to goal, save by Cleary. 10 seconds to go in the period. Shot for the point, saved by Cleary. Another chance, and he jumps on top of it and covers it with 6.6 to go in the period.
What a sequence for Cleary, stopping the breakaway that Shanley got. And Shanley, that was a bit of a fluke, he even got that. It looked like whoever it was for Fitchburg who wanted to clear that out, wanted to send it much further down the length of the ice, but it ended up right on the stick of Shanley. He got all the way down, took a shot, and then a good job by Clancy there, reaching out and covering it. Those can be tough sometimes. Did a good job keeping track of where it was.
I think the Falcons end up with 8 shots in the final 3 minutes of this period as the buzzer sounds and the Falcons rebound from an early goal. Goals from Joshua Miller and Reese Bergman And after 20 minutes of play, it's Fitchburg 2, Salem 1.
And, you know, I'd say it's a bit fitting. It was all Salem early on, and just therefore the goal that they got just 12 minutes into the game, or 8 minutes into the game, rather, pardon me. Or no, 12 minutes into the game, excuse me. But it was all Salem to start off, and then Fitchburg, they started getting back to their game. They took advantage of the power play for the second goal, but they started to swarm, played more of their game, stay in the offensive zone more often, and it just became too much for Cleary. And now you have a 2-1 lead.
I know in regards to last year and some other years, the Falcons sometimes have a tendency to start slow in contests. They were being outshot 9-3 in the early going. But after that, the Vikings, after that point, just one shot on goal for them, and the Falcons 14. And they're able to beat Cleary twice. And through 20 minutes of play, it's Fitchburg State 2, Salem State 1. Any other thoughts, Tim?
No, I mean, that's just something that Fitchburg needs to be able to keep up. Salem, they understand that if they can get back to the way they were playing to start that period, it's going to be a game that they certainly feel is winnable with the way Fitchburg was playing, but it's going to be tough to get Fitchburg back in the corner like they had them early in this game.
Indeed, and when you have a goalie like Brian McGrath at one end for Fitchburg State, always a tough goalie to beat. They found a way to get past him once in the first. A second time might also be difficult.
We'll have to see what they do.
Indeed. So we're going to take a break here. We'll be back in about 13 minutes for second period action here from the Wallace Civic Center, where it's Fitchburg State 2, Salem State 1. You're watching Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV and the Falcon Sports Network. We are back here at the Wallace Civic Center getting ready for the start of the second period between the Fitchburg State Falcons and Salem State Vikings. Fitchburg State with a 2-1 lead through one period of play. Daniel Bolak, Tim Foley here with you on FATV and simulcast on the Falcon Sports Network as well. That first period, the official shots on goal. And you have the official stats, Tim?
I do have them here. The online stats, it reads 19 for Fitchburg after the first period of play, 13 for Salem. Fitchburg, McGrath in net with 12 saves so far. He's made 12 of 13, and then in net for Salem, Cleary 17 saves on the 19 shot attempts. Face-offs, Fitchburg winning in that regard, 16 face-offs to Salem's 10. Power plays, Fitchburg the only team to have been on the power play so far. They're 1 for 2 on their total trips.
And of course, the Falcons got their lone goal on a delayed penalty, as their first goal, their lone even strength goal, I should say, that came on a delayed penalty. Their first goal coming from Josh Miller, his first collegiate goal. Coming at, what time was it?
That goal coming at 18:33.
Oh, that was the power play goal.
Oh, pardon me, 14:05.
At 14:05 for the initial power play, the initial goal, Miller from Vicario. Then on the Falcons' second power play of the game, Reese Bergman from Wyatt Wilmshurst on a complete scramble play out in front. After what was 4 or 5 chances on goal, Falcons finally able to poke it past Sean Cleary. The lone goal for the Vikings coming for Spencer DeRitter. So for the second period of play, Tim Foley will have the call.
All right, thanks, Daniel. As Fitchburg, they win the face-off back, and it's then thrown into the Salem end of play. Opening lines for both teams, Siolan, El-Wally, and Zerby for the Falcons. Out there for the Vikings, it was Joe Smith, Richard Coyle, and Trevor Mallett. As Fitchburg able to clear the puck out of their own end, and now into the Salem end of play, holding on to it, scooping it along, Derek Scoggins, as he gives it up to the far boards. Breakout play made. Salem, they now entered the opposite zone of play. Medlev defending the likes of Mallett as he holds on to the puck, loses it on the far boards. Now tracking it down for Salem, that's Richard Coyle. Coyle spinning in the end boards. Beneath McGrath now comes up top, tries shooting low angle. McGrath tight to the post, he's able to make the save. Now coming out of the zone, El-Wally. It would have been a 3-on-2, but he dropped the puck and had to backhand it the length of the ice for an icing. He had Zerby and Siolan with him. The only two back for Salem were looking to be number 13 for them, Callum Hofford, as well as number 5, Luke Pepin. So it could have been a chance there for the Falcons, but squandered. 19:07 to go in this second period of action. Siolan's going to be set to take the face-off here. And it's won back by Siolan. Medlev just getting a stick on it, helping to cycle it around the end boards. Zerby then along the half boards, but Salem keeping it in as they throw it back into the near side. Medalev holding on to the puck. He's now in the corner. Cross beneath the net. Lamore, he now finds it into the skates of Siolan, who's able to play it back to his stick. He has El Wally on his right, ups to take it square into the body of the goaltender Cleary, and we'll have a face-off in the offensive zone here for Fitchburg.
Just decided to go with the simple shot there, just put it on goal. Cleary able to make that stop, but now forces the face-off to his right, and the Falcons will now put their top line out there, I believe. Yes, indeed it is, of Reese Bergman, Ryan Murphy, and Hunter Fort.
And they're facing off against Hasenfuss, Wolf, and Shea as the face-off's won back by Hasenfuss. Now Salem out of their own end. Murphy can't intercept and neutral ice, and they progress it forward. However, now it's Joshua Miller trying to give the head pass for Murphy. That one too far, will have an icing call. This time all the way back down we go into the Fitchburg side of things. It'll be face-off coming to the right of Brian McGrath. 18:31 to go in the second period. Still 2-1.
Yeah, for that last stretch pass, probably would have needed Mitch Wally's reach to get that one.
Face-off, Salem able to win it, but it comes all the way back outside the zone. Holding onto it, Luke Pepin, as he gives it up to Smith, who then chucks it in on McGrath. He'll cover. Another offensive zone face-off coming here for Salem.
And Salem already has their top line out there. And Coyle immediately thrust up to the top line. They expected good things out of him. Only his second game with the Vikings, already entering this top line.
As puck wrapped around the boards, comes to find Hunter Fortin. It just gets ahead of him, though. That'll cancel icing as Fortin. First one to it. He may have touched it before or after the red line thereafter. And now here's Bergman beneath the net. Gives it back up to the point. Thrown in by Joshua Miller. Batted down. Bergman almost picked it back up. It ends up again at the stick of Josh Miller. Now chasing it down. Hunter Fortin blows through a body of Luke Pepin to get there first, but ends up getting all the way to Salem. Richard Coyle clearing it out. And now here's Joe Smith leaving it back, trying to connect with Mallet. He just misses the mark. Now Fortin and the Falcons have possession in their own end. Bergman receiving the long pass up ice from Egan Wolford as he then dumps it into the zone. Salem looking for an offsides call there, but they have some time to clear it out nonetheless. Vicario, however, intercepts and he gives it right over to Gene Bouthiette, who in front couldn't put it home. Salem again, they'll play it off the near boards. Wolford trying to keep it in. Vicario ends up having it just outside the offensive zone as Bouthiette is dropped just outside Salem's end. And as it's picked up and shot twice by Fitchburg, Wyatt Wilmshire was denied by a Salem body 2 times. And then the puck ending up now in the near corner. Whistle blown. And face-off's going to come outside the Salem zone. I believe offsides the call as we will see it outside the Salem zone.
17:03 to go in this second period. 2-1 still, Falcons in front. Again on the goals from Josh Miller and Reese Bergman. And Spencer DeRitter with the lone strike for the Vikings. It opened the scoring in this contest. The Falcons this season a 2-2-2 record when they concede the first goal. The Vikings, this was only the 5th time they'd scored the first goal. Some good it's done them. The Vikings do have both of their victories this season when they do strike first.
But the Fitchburg has what matters at the moment, and that's the lead. We'll see how they hold on to it as an icing here. It'll come all the way back down. Offensive face-off coming now for Fitchburg, as they opt to go for a change defensively. They'll keep Boomer Miller out there. With him, he has Kevin Perry and Trent Shanley lined for Salem on the ice right now. It's Ryan Tierney, Spencer DeRitter, and Iman Miller. As going back to play it, Trey Olson passes it over. Skating it out of the zone now, Callum Hofford. Salem entering his own shot, blocked by Lamore. He got his body in the way of Miller, and he then carried it into the corner as referees blowing that down. Lamore couldn't just get it out of his hands. It'll be an offensive zone face-off coming here for Salem. 16:29 to go in the second period.
Right now, a bit of a slow start offensively, it seems like, for both sides. The Falcons had a couple of chances. For Salem, I guess more a slow start for them. They've only had one good opportunity, I think, on McGrath.
And now here's Couture out of the zone. He gives it over to Zerby entering the right wing. Zerby's shot up into the chest of Sean Cleary. He'll hold on to it. We'll have now a face-off for Fitchburg in the offensive end. Quick end-to-end movement there from Fitchburg as they now take a face-off to the left of Cleary. And it'll be Salem taking the draw. Zerbe on his left, on his right, Cousior. And it's instead won back by Joe Smith, the senior from Holbrook, Mass. Puck deflected back into the space beneath the net and is cleared out of the zone. Joshua Miller could not hold on to it. And it'll be Anton Medalev who has to go all the way back to push it along. Salem now. He tries playing it up, but the Vikings swarm, and they now force the issue for Fitchburg, but Salem coming away with some space to skate, and he now exits the zone. Feeds it along through. Now, Adam Cousior trying to pin down Kyle Waldusky, as Cousior again having it on his stick. Zerbe now the backhand down low. Cleary, he's down. He was strong to the post. Kept his leg pinned up against it as Zerbe was pushing, doing all that he could. Ending up getting the whistle, puck blown dead.
And Cleary, of course, is going to be a little more wary of trying to make sure that puck is covered, considering how that second goal Fitchburg was scored with just a scramble out in front, and Cleary making no fewer than 4 saves before it finally was poked past him because the officials ruled that Cleary had not done enough to cover the puck.
Murphy able to win the faceoff back there. 15:36 to go in the second. Cross ice pass looking for Bergman. Fortin, a nice pass to get it through, but Bergman all turned up as he ended up getting it behind him on the backhand and couldn't follow through. It's now back in Fitchburg's defensive end. Help ice pass intercepted by Luke Pepin. He enters the zone. Pepin's pass finds its way across for Shippey as it comes back over to the far side, picked up now by Fortin. But Murphy doesn't pick up the pass as Bergman runs through his man at the blue line, leaving a Viking slow to get up. And going to the box should be Bergman in a moment here. He absolutely trucked Billy McGuinn. Or pardon me, no, that was Derek Scoggins getting up slowly. No, it was McGuinn, 29.
The numbers for Salem, it's a unique font that they use, but sometimes a 9 and an 8 will look very similar. And for McGuinn, who left the game in the first period, not putting any weight on his left leg, it's good to see that he's okay, but now he may have gotten himself hurt again. My goodness, this has been a terrible day for him. As Reese Bergman takes his 10th penalty of the season, no one's taken more penalties on this Falcon squad than Bergman.
So this is the first time we've seen the man advantage today for Salem. Salem on the season on the power play. They are 12 of 72. That sits at about 16.7%. But Fitchburg, they hold the record of best penalty kill in the MASCAC. 66 of 74 stops, as their percentage sitting at about 89.2%.
That percentage is also in the top 10 in all of Division 2 and 3 hockey.
As that puck stays in play, Salem player without his stick for a moment. Losing his stick there was Luke Pepin. He now takes it up ice. Pepin, he skates up slowly but surely, but it's then knocked away by Perry. And upset with himself there, Pepin, as he took his time to make his way up ice just to be squandered by the stick of Kevin Perry with excellent timing and hand-eye coordination. 14:07 to go in the second period, and exactly a minute to go on the penalty to Reese Bergman. As entering the zone, taking a shot for Salem off the shoulder of McGrath. It was Spencer DeRider who tried to send one in on the junior netminder, but it comes all the way back out as Trent Shanley was able to force it along.
2 Falcons had their sticks knocked out of their hands. No calls either way. So almost essentially a 5-on-2 on that last shot, although both players have since retrieved their sticks.
As Saboyu lines that one down the ice, change in defensive guard for the Falcons. Now out there, Josh Miller, Anton Medlev, the defensive pairing. Coming into the far side, holding onto it to Ryder. He now has it again down low, some back and forth in front with Callum Hofford, but it comes back out. Chance now for Fitchburg the other way. Boomer Miller with it on his stick. Shot, saved, and lying down on it is Sean Cleary. What awareness from the goaltender, as if you don't know where the puck is, that's something I was always told growing up playing, just lie down. It's on you somewhere. And Cleary holding on to it, drawing the whistle. It stays the 2-1 game. 10 seconds left in the penalty to Reese Bergman. 13-14 to go in the period.
One of the weaknesses for the Salem State power play, they've given up 4 shorthanded goals this season, and their percentage of 16.7 in conversions ranks somewhere in the middle in terms of D2 and D3 teams.
As 1 second now, Bergman out of the box. Even strength play once more here at the Civic Center. Puck back in the Salem ice. Skater coming on was Vicario in place of Bergman as he forced the issue. Puck now bouncing around the Salem zone beneath the net. Medalev forcing a dirty clear out of the zone. Now here's Bouthiet stopping as he looks for entry. It's on sides as Vicario then picks it up on the far side. He's brought down as he and Bouthiet then look after the puck as a couple of orange jerseys also jumping on it down low. 3 Vikings, and finally picking it out for Fitchburg was Wilmshire. Bouthiet couldn't hold on to it, trying to pass it across to Medalev was Joshua Miller. Ends up back down low in the Salem zone. Wilmshire's first player to it for Fitchburg as the Vikings look to clear. Now coming out of the zone, Ryan Tierney comes back out. Miller, or Medalev, pardon me, getting it. And now in comes Fitchburg. Shot taken by Hunter Fortin. Fortin getting it back and circling the offensive zone. Comes back out for Holmes. Holmes now. Pass gives it up to Fortin. Has to evade the forechecker for Salem. That was Amon Miller. Wolford entering the zone. Fortin trying to trail him, but the Vikings, they're now able to take it out. Amon Miller. And leaving it, and now it's Ryan Tierney battling in the corner. He's got Bergman and Holmes on him. Tierney, as Holmes is able to bat it across, no call on the batted puck with the glove. Wolford kicking it back over as it's shielded down low by Salem's Richard Coyle. Coyle now coming out of the boards in the corner. A shot from the point was blocked. Pepin's shot no good as Murphy now trying to chip it away out of the zone. Hunter Fortin, here he comes 2-on-2 with Bergman. Bergman now up the left wing. Hesitating, pulling it back to his stick. Fortin in front. And if there were only a third player on that rush up ice, they would have been right in front. Bergman and Fortin, good job connecting to leave it in front, but Cleary with no Falcon in front of him to force the issue, able to get a glove down on it, rather uncontested. 11:06 to go in the second period.
And Murphy came in at the very end there, but by that point, Cleary had already gotten on top of that one, but still a great play there by Bergman to keep the play alive.
Seolin wins the faceoff back a little too cleanly as it goes between Lamore and Saboyu. Neither defenseman positioned well enough to pick it up. And it's then sent the length of the ice. Saboyu sending it through the seam. That'll be an icing. Faceoff coming back down. It'll be to the right of McGrath here. 10:55 to go in the period.
One thing I noticed on the line chart and everything from earlier in the contest was Adam Kuzior was originally paired with Josh Miller on defense, but now they've shuffled the lines up a little bit with Kuzior now playing on the right wing. And they've gotten the advantage of using that extra skater in Egan Wolford, who is playing as a 7th defenseman now. He's slotted in normally with that. And the one who Seolin replaces on the lines can shuffle out to the extra skater to come in as they please. Which is Mitch Alwali.
And it's good to see Wolford back. He had not played in quite a few games, I remember, for this Falcons squad. He was out with an injury before the break as that one's swallowed up there by McGrath. He's able to make the save on the shot from the near circle. Fitchburg will go for a change.
Yeah, Wolford being added to the lineup for today's game was a late change. Originally, Brian Glover was going to be set to play as the extra defenseman, but I guess he's been battling injury as well.
Yeah, last game played for Wolford. He played 3 games in the second half of the season here against Wesleyan, Albertus Magnus, and Wentworth. And he's back in the lineup today here against Salem as he's looking for more consistent minutes, the freshman from San Jose.
Yep. Didn't play in the last game against Becker. The Falcons didn't utilize the extra skater, so he obviously didn't play because he was unfit to play. But yes, good to see him back and healthy. That's something the Falcons would always love to see.
As Perry battling on the near side. Cycling, giving it back down low just ahead of the stick of Boomer Miller. Comes off to the far boards where Salem's now able to clear it out. Trying for the up ice pass. It was Trevor Mallett looking to find Joe Smith. Instead, now the Falcons the other way. Here's Kevin Perry from the left circle. He now has it down low. Circling down low. Josh Miller from the point, tries a shot, ends up being deflected. Boomer Miller has to then pick it up, and he throws it back into the zone after he's forced outside. 9:32 to go in the period. Salem with some space to clear it out now. As it's passed along, Wolford, his backhand, a risky pass there. Dan Shea was waiting in the slot. Unfortunately for Salem, did not hit his stick. And so now Fitchburg able to get away with one there. Shot taken from the far side. Chris Vicario let it fly. It was instead grabbed by Sean Cleary, assistant captain for the Vikings, also goaltender. 9:12 to go in the period. Scoreless in the second so far. All the scoring having been done in the first 20 minutes.
Cleary, one of two alternate captains along with Callum Hofford. Brandon Wolf is the captain of this Viking squad. Dean Zerbe, the only Falcon who wears a patch.
Wolford from the point. His blast goes off the knees of Landon Hasenfuss, and now it's back out the other way. Fitchburg has to regather. Up ice pass sent all the way up by Jordan Holmes. Now Vicario trying to find Wilmshire, so he had some space, but the passing lane was shut down. And so now it's Salem holding on to it. They evacuate their own end of the ice. Hasenfuss, he enters the blue line. His shot off the blocker of McGrath ends up in the corner. Hasenfuss patting it down low, looking for his teammate Brandon Wolf to pick it up. On the near side, Fitchburg, Wilmshire, as well as Murphy battling to get that puck out, but it's then launched right back in by Dan Shea. As we have a whistle blown, I believe a hand pass was the call by the referees. So we're going to see a face-off actually come into the Salem zone here off of a hand pass that was just outside the Fitchburg zone.
8:25 to go in the second. Landon Hasenfuss, the junior from Hanover, formerly played for Hanover High School, played in a state championship game a few years ago, but his Hanover Indian side lost to the Shrewsbury Colonials.
And that Shrewsbury Colonials, those Shrewsbury Colonials, always a tough team to face. As Saboyu now in his own end, plays it back off the boards for Lamore. Lamore whiffs it on the way out. It's just able to trickle over. Referees, linemen just flagging it down. It could have been a nice chance for Salem as they had some numbers, but just eking outside of the Fitchburg zone. Lucky break for the Falcons.
Just barely touched the white ice in the neutral zone, so they'll blow it in on an over and back.
8:06 to go in the second period. Flicked out of the zone by Saboyu. Finds its way to the stick of Reese Bergman. He stops and then shovels it down low. Leaving it behind was Hunter Fortin as Salem looking to assume control. Fortin able to pick it up. Bergman from just in front of the net. And now picking it up down low, Ryan Murphy finds Fortin trying to tuck it in, low angle. Cleary, he's able to get on that, signaling to the referee, hey, I got it, I got it.
Then one of those, you don't believe me that I got it? Oh, I show you I got it. 7:44 now to go in the second. The unofficial shot board has it at 27-16 in favor of Fitchburg, so unofficially the shots are 10-3 in this period favoring the Falcons, but no scoring in this second frame.
As face-off, one back by Salem, but immediately thereafter flicked out of the zone.
I think that's the first time this period that we've had a puck go out of play.
I want to say it is one of the first times this period, but last period, I remember, non-stop. So the play has been a bit more smooth in that regard here in the second 20 minutes of action. Seolin able to win that face-off back, comes to Medlev at the left point. Thrown in, hits the referee, and that is a lucky break for Salem as they were the only team with a player even near the puck. Now taking it in and sending one into the glove of McGrath was Billy McGuinn. And we'll have a face-off coming. Offensive chance for Salem off of a lucky break after the puck hit the referee.
As it goes, in a game of Division III college hockey, 16 skaters on the ice. Although they try to play as neutral as they can, sometimes they just can't get out of the way.
End of the day, it's all part of the game. As Salem holding on to it now, but Ethanet shielding with his body, Billy McGuinn, as he's looking for a teammate to help him get out of this situation. Fitchburg now able to clear it though. Here's Adam Cousior looking to dump it in. Dean Zerby able to somehow pull a rabbit out of his hat. And now Adam Cousior, he has it, gives it back up top. Anton Medlev, he looks to shoot it, goes into the skate of McGuinn. Back in the corner for Salem, the long clear goes just beyond the stick of Cam Ryan. And the length of the ice, no icing. Anton Medlev, he has it now. Taking it out, the pass off of the inside of the skate of Dan Shea. Ends up back at a Falcon skate, however. Zerby giving it back over, trying to find Cousior. Battling the boards beneath the net. As several players tied up there. Zerby as well as Cousior. I see Landon Hassenfuss as finally peeling it out of there. Kyle Waldusky, even still puck stuck along the boards. Waldusky now with it on his stick. Seolin after him, pinning it up before it's given back to Hassenfuss. Hassenfuss now out of the zone. He finds Dan Shea. Shea and Hassenfuss, they dump it down low. And Holmes is pinned up against the boards. Wolford then throws his body into that of Shea. Ends up again beneath McGrath. Wolf now at the point here. Thrown in by Salem. Deflected, goes off the boards beneath the net as Scoggins was the one who sent that one down low. 5:48 to go in this second period. Still no scoring in the second frame of action. 2-1, Falcons in front. Puck thrown up the boards. Dan Shea, he held it there for a moment. Thrown back in by Salem. Jordan Holmes now, he's got some room to run. Far side. Brings it up the right wing, giving it around that of Derek Scoggins. Bergman then picking it up. He has some space. Fortin thereafter grabbing it. Bergman now giving it up to the point. Saboyu trying to lodge it in, but it goes off the body of Spencer DeRuyter. And now the Vikings getting it and clearing it down nice. Amon Miller. And then first to the puck, Ryan Tierney in a battle with Jeff Lamore. Salem coming out of the corner, losing it, leaving it behind. Amon Miller. And now Bergman getting it out of the zone. Left back, Salem. They take their time passing it around. 4:47 to go in the second. Centering pass. Oh, nice move there by Amon Miller for a moment, but he just couldn't hold on to the puck as Fitchburg able to clear it. It's been a bit sloppy recently as both teams struggling to get a good look on net. And again here in the middle of the Fitchburg offensive zone, Richard Coyle couldn't get a good look at it as he was tied up in a couple of white jerseys. Now Saboyu, he goes in against Coyle. Coyle able to work his way along. He then kicks it, trying to find Joe Smith. Puck then picked up and shot, missing the net. It was taken by Trevor Mallett. Wilmshurst from his torso, flinging it back to Murphy. And Vicario trying to give it back to himself. What's the call going to be here, though? And it looked like he brought a Viking down on in the process of the play with his stick.
I think they're just going to call a hand pass
That's
here.
what I thought. Just going to be a hand pass if Fitchburg will actually have a face-off coming in the offensive zone. So it'll be Gene Bouthiet taking the face-off. He goes off against Joe Smith. Joe Smith out there with Richard Coyle, Trevor Mallett. Bouthiet out there with Wilmshurst and Vicario. Puck, Bouthiet. Near boards, trying to leave it back for Wilmshurst. Vicario's then knocked off. Wilmshurst leaving it in front. Thrown in by Joshua Miller, and it's then slapped into the corner by a Viking. As it's sent all the way out, Medlev has to go back and retrieve it alongside Miller. Rotation off the boards as Vicario, bit of a lazy pass there, just leaves it back for a Viking and Trey Olson. Now Olson, he has some room to skate it with. He now brings it up the right wing. Skating in is Yannikopoulos. As Yannikopoulos looks like he's in a bit of pain. Looks like he's wincing a bit. As Salem, they still have it in the offensive zone as that puck nearly goes off the right shoulder of Anton Medlev. McGrath had to get a pad in the way of it. And then he there gloves it after the fact. Shot taken by McGuinn. But a near goal there off the shoulder of Medlev. McGrath having to react to that one.
I know that'd be the type of shot if going from my perspective as a goalie, which is far less experience than you have, but still, seeing that point-blank redirection off your defenseman's shoulder, It's got to be tough to try to seal down that post, but McGrath was able to do so. Cut to his left, able to seal that down, knock that puck down and away. Wasn't the shot that Salem was looking to take there, but it was a sneakily good scoring chance.
Certainly, and those are ones that you're going to try and need, in all honesty, to try and beat McGrath. Straight up one-on-one. He's a tough goalie to beat, as we've hammered it time and time again. One of the, if not the best goalie in the MASCAC, and so trying to beat him straight up, tough to do, so you need to rely sometimes on chances like that to get by him. As Fitchburg now has it in their own defensive end, Jordan Holmes, he looks to get it out of the zone. His glove down and bringing it right back into the Fitchburg zone. Scoggins' shot saved by McGrath as Miller then picks it up. Now, far side, Shanley leaves it back for Boomer Miller. Miller up the right wing over the blue line. He's rubbed off and sent to the ice by Hofford. Battle down low, Kevin Perry to the near corner as he misses his hit, but is successful in delaying the play, as delayed penalty actually coming now. Elbow, that's going to go against Kevin Perry, and we will see Salem go to the power play for the second time tonight, unsuccessful on the first attempt.
For Kevin Perry, that'll be his 7th penalty of the season, all minor penalties for the junior from Hull. But yeah, Salem are going to have a power play for most of the rest of this period, as it would stand. 2:06 to go in the second. Falcons were able to get the go-ahead goal on a late power play in the first. See if Salem could equalize here.
We'll try and do it with the power play unit. Joe Smith out there alongside Mike Shippey. They also have Cal Hofford standing alongside him, Yannikopoulos. And rounding it out for the Vikings on their power play unit looks to be number 29, Billy McGuinn. As puck at the point, now near point, holding on to it, Hofford. Far side slap shot, one-timer, looked like perhaps deflected in front. Shippey was there to get in the way. McGrath able to make the save, puck now in front. Backhander shot opposite side, not able to get a whole lot of it. Joe Smith, as now near boards, put up to the top. Shot saved perhaps off the toe of McGrath as it goes off into the glass and outside the Fitchburg zone.
Salem looking strong, passing the puck around, looking for one-timers, just trying to find that brilliant scoring chance.
As with it was McGuinn, but now here's Trent Shanley. He plays it off the glass out of the zone. Fitchburg will get a line change on the fence. Penalty killing unit on the ice now for Fitchburg. You have Bergman, Shanley, Lamore, and Saboyu. Salem looks to take it out from beneath their own net. Yannikopoulos gives it up now, back and forth. Mallet as he works up ice alongside Smith. Smith holding on to the puck here, giving it far side. Mallet now to the point, holding on to it. Coyle trying to send it in, goes off into the body of Miller. Here's Amon Miller, his backhand, leaving it down low. Saboyu's going to be the first one to get there, no problem, but kept in at the point by Salem as it is wrapped around. 17 seconds left in the penalty. Now 20 seconds to go in the period. Lamore, he's down there battling. It's finally picked out by Salem. Point-to-point pass. Here's Coyle trying to give it to the far corner for a one-timer opportunity. Now Mallet, 10 seconds to go in the period. Puck beneath the net. Penalty time over. Save McGrath as he was able to come over with the left leg vertical. Puck loose in the corner, and that's going to do it for the first 40 minutes of play now. The last 20 minutes scoreless as we remain at 2-1. Fitchburg in front of the Vikings at the end of period number 2.
I know late in that second period on that power play, I was thinking to something, let's see, from last week's game against Fitchburg and Plymouth. Plymouth's broadcast actually gets their head coach Craig Russell on during the second intermissions, and he was saying that part of their strategy is try to take the first shot whenever you can and just try to get shot after shot after shot on McGrath, because they know he's a good goaltender. They're hoping if you're putting 40 shots on him, just going with the volume, that hopefully he'll make a mistake somewhere, because sometimes you try to get that extra pass off, maybe you don't get the opportunity at all. And Salem a lot of times weren't taking the first opportunity but tried to make another pass here and there, and they did get at least some good chances on that, but McGrath was square to all of them.
Yeah, and like you said, just volume, volume, volume. You know, a 940 save percentage, it's not 1,000. The more shots you get on them, you know, something is bound to go in at some point. Although, like we said, it's going to take a lot of shots. It's going to take big volume, as I believe we have some of the goals ready on replay. This is what I have heard.
Yep, we should have some highlights available, so let's have a look. Here was the first goal back in the first period from Spencer DeRitter, getting just his second goal of the season. Then on delayed penalty, puck comes out right there to Joshua Miller, who gets his first collegiate tally. And then on the power play, look at this whole scramble and mess out in front. I don't know where the puck was during all of that, but where it ended up was in the net. Ultimately, they ruled that Cleary never did cover it. And so Reese Bergman, the beneficiary, getting his goal there, his third of the season. And that's the go-ahead goal as it stands. All those came back in the first period. We had no scoring in the second, as through 40 minutes of play, we remain at Fitchburg 2 and Salem 1. Any other thoughts, Tim?
No, I mean, that was a much more back and forth period, it felt like. If we take a look at the official shot tally, 33-26, as I believe that is right about the same amount of shots in the period for both teams at the official shot total.
Yep, 14-13 would be my math. In favor of the Falcons.
In favor of the Falcons. Looking at faceoffs, 30 for Fitchburg, 19 for Salem, and that's, I think, going to be a big part of this, is just who has possession more towards the end of the game. You know, if Fitchburg's able to keep the puck away from Salem, it's going to be tough for Salem with what little shots they may end up having to get them past McGrath. So Fitchburg at this point almost want to play a little bit of keep away. This is a lead this is one that certainly Fitchburg should feel comfortable holding on to this final 20 minutes of play.
Indeed. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have the third period of action here from the Civic Center. It's Fitchburg State 2, Salem State 1 here at Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV and the Falcon Sports Network. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, getting ready for the start of the third period between the Falcons of Fitchburg State and the Vikings of Salem State. 2-1 through 40 minutes of play. In favor of the green and gold. Daniel Volak, Tim Foley here with you, high above the ice at the Gates Arena. And so, Tim, any thoughts about what these two teams need to do here in this third period?
Salem's just going to have to be, we said it at the end of the second period, just shots, shots, shots. They're going to have to get as many on McGrath as absolutely possible. It's going to be tough to beat him with a few. And so with a 1-goal deficit, they're going to need to get at least one, send it to overtime, try and get a point out of this, and I'm sure it's still possible. But again, it's going to be tough to beat one of the best goaltenders in the MASCAC, as they almost got one on him there.
Good shot there from Trevor Mallett, but punched away with the blocker, and we've got a penalty coming here. It's going to be against Fitchburg. Clary racing to the bench, extra attacker is on. So 6 skaters on the ice for the Vikings. Falcons scored on a delayed penalty earlier. Salem's not going to here. Boarding is the call. And so 31 seconds into the third period, Salem State's going to have their third power play of the night as Dean Zerby goes to the box.
And a good start for Salem this period. I mean, you jump out, you get that early shot of McGrath, and now you force the penalty. Man advantage here, as they're going to look to keep swarming early.
Zerby taking his 9th penalty of the season. And there's a quick shot and a save by McGrath off the stick of Joe Smith. The senior from Holbrook looking for his 4th goal of the season, not getting it there.
Nice eyes by Salem, able to find the clean passing lanes, getting it cross ice and getting a one clean on McGrath right there.
6 seconds killed, but 1:54 remains in the power play. We're still in the first minute here of this third period. As Smith goes across to the corner for Callum Hofford. Hofford backhands it around to Smith. Gets out of his reach. Kept in, is pinching in there is Matt Yannikopoulos, but pushed out by the Falcons and Joff Lamore, and it's sent all the way down, and Sean Cleary's gonna have to pick that one up, and the Vikings will reset. 60 seconds gone in this first. Flipped in by Yannikopoulos. Joshua Miller getting to it. Pounds it around the boards, and it's gonna go all the way back down. Cleary will pick that one up, leave it. A couple Vikings pass on it, but it'll be taken by Matt Yannikopoulos. Gains the red line, dumps it in. Josh Miller picks it up behind the net, around for Shanley, and Shanley knocks it right back out of the zone. Salem having trouble establishing any form of possession. in the Falcon end, and Bergman puts it on goal as Cleary was just trying to get back to his net after all that. Shanley in left wing corner, pitting the puck against the boards, killing precious seconds on this Viking power play. And now Salem brings it up from Cam Ryan. Ryan to the left circle, shot. Whistles high over the net, into the netting and out of play. 18:04 to go in the third, 36 on the power for Salem, as the Falcons continue to lead by a score of 2-1.
And not a good sequence there for Salem. They were chasing after Fitchburg a bit there. You want to get Fitchburg trying to move around after that puck. Should have just dumped and chase on the dump-in attempt instead of trying to run in on McGrath. Salem, they have more numbers. You want to try and just get on top of Fitchburg, but Fitchburg able to force the puck out of the zone, and they're able to get all four to regroup.
Draw controlled by the Vikings. Pepin kept it in the zone as Ryan moves off there now for Mallet. Mallet moving it around to the right corner. Right side is Coyle. Now up to Pepin. Mallet top of the slot. Try to push it to the left side of the net. Amon Miller. It's there for the Vikings. Still has it. Richard Coyle. Dispossessed. Falcons try to keep it out. That's Coyle now. Mistaken one for another as 5 seconds left on the power. Pepin regains the zone as the penalty's about to expire. That angle shot may have gotten a bit of the pipe there. As the penalty is over, the Falcons back to full strength. And Fitchburg able to force a turnover and push it down into the Vikings' end. Wyatt Wilmshurst gets a bit of an opening. Cross-ice pass. Oh my goodness, that was a great feed, and Murphy just misfired on it. And he knows it.
Oh, and Murphy's going to see that one in his sleep. A tough shot there is a beautiful feed all the way to him. Had it, went down on one knee, tried to absolutely unleash it against Sean Cleary, but just chipping it up out of play.
It's like, what part of Murphy's stick did the puck hit? The shot from the point there.
I do want to say it went off of the foot of the stick.
It just seems strange how the trajectory of that shot went.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we'd have to look back at later on, but not available at the moment.
Vikings hold on their own blue line as Derek Scoggins tried to bring it into the zone, put a lot of oomph on it, but he ended up hitting his teammate in Brandon Wolf's skate instead. Hurt him for a moment. It's a shot that's flubbed there by Trey Olson. Now Wolf in the left corner, knocking it along. Landon Hassenfuss back into the corner. Bouthiet contesting. 4 players, 2 on either side, going for the puck. Controlled by the Vikings. And Brandon Wolf tries to drop it off to Trey Olson. Didn't get a lot on that one. It comes back to Wolf. Falcons eventually win possession of it, and they'll bring it up ice. Pushing into the zone, drop pass for Bouthiet. Forgot the puck. Now back the other way. Could be a 3-on-2 for Salem. Wolf along to the right side. Tried to center, nothing going there. Couldn't find Miller. There's a shot from distance from Yannikopoulos, and it's stopped by McGrath.
Nice job, McGrath, able to see it through all the traffic and hold on to it. Salem, good pressure up ice as they were moving. I think should have gotten that shot off a bit sooner. They didn't really get a good look at a shot until it came all the way back up to the point, and it was sent in on McGrath.
Draw will come to McGrath. With a little over 4 minutes gone here in this third period. Joff Lamore, long for Forden, now for Wilmshurst. Here's Murphy. Murphy up the left side. Murphy looking for Bergman. Bergman wasn't able to get his stick on it. Ended up knocking off the net as he lost his balance. Didn't see if he was pushed or not, though. But not at all what he intended. 15:40 to go in the third, 2-1, Fitchburg in front. With Bergman knocking the net off. Ruled it was more his fault than anybody else's, so the faceoff's going to be outside of the Viking zone. Vikings trying to keep it away there. That was just one crazy mess and a crazy save from Sean Cleary. I think he stopped it with the shaft of his stick there. That was just Salem not really able to control the puck well. And Fitchburg with a prime scoring opportunity to make it 3-1. Couldn't get the finish. Offered around the boards to Miller. And it's dumped in. Valley of the Falcons, who intercept at the red line. Cleary trying to keep it away from Fitchburg, ends up coming to Shanley. Now in front, a great chance there, shouldered away. Now centered through the paint, nothing going there at the moment. Josh Miller trying to get a shot off, goes wide. Yanakopoulos off the glass. Taken by Josh Miller, now dumped back in by Ryan Tierney for the Vikings change. Harry sends it along, Falcons will change themselves now. On the far side, puck will be moved around to the near side in the Vikings end, where Salem will finally be able to get it out of the zone. But a pass intercepted by Wolford, dumped in. Cleary thought about playing it, thought better of it, as Boomer Miller tried to knock it along. Now into the left wing corner, Miller, centering for a one-timer. Puck didn't go anywhere. Off the stick of Kevin Perry. 2-on-2 for the Vikings, they'll dump in. McGrath behind his own net. Vikings use this to change. On the near side, Shanley battling for it with a couple other Vikings against the near side boards, and now Wolford. Carried out to the far side. Cross-ice pass for Jordan Holmes. It's center line intercepted by Pepin. Pepin across. Couldn't find Michael Shippey. Players being knocked to the ice left and right. A big roar from the Vikings side as Boomer Miller nearly put that towards goal. But Sean Cleary able to hold the near side post. 13:25 to go in the third. Carried up by Scoggins. Puck lost. Not kept in by Pepin. And pulled forward by Anthony Ciolin. Ciolin on the right side. Shot, score! A brilliant sniper to the top right corner for Anthony Ciolin. The Falcons lead 3-1.
And that was a long sequence of time between whistles there, as it's finally ended by Ciolin's goal there, which is able to give Fitchburg a 2-0 lead. If you bring it back, it was that crazy sequence with Hunter Fortin nearly knocking one in on Cleary, but Cleary able to bat it out of the air with the stick, and then it turned into a WWE event with players going down left and right in the middle of the ice. Ciolin finally finishing it off there with a nice snipe at the top right corner. That was a nice back and forth there by both teams. Fitchburg able to come away with the goal there.
That's hockey indeed. And for Anthony Ciolin, his third goal of the season for the freshman business accounting major from Simsbury, Connecticut. Joff Lamore will carry it out from behind his own net. Pushing it forward, tried to find Kuzior. Bit too strong, and Olsen took it instead. Falcons have to double back and get back to the blue line. Salem will take the time as it's brought up by Olsen. Olsen lost a handle on it. Zerbe will have it instead. Ian Wilmshurst needed to get back on the same page, and then the initial dump in went into the legs of the linesman. Not the first time we've seen that tonight. As it comes to Wolf on the near side, he gains the zone. Wolf the left side boards. Long for Anton Medelev. Punched off the boards now for Bouthiette. 2-on-2 for the Falcons. They stay on side. Bouthiette with a shot, save by Cleary, as his momentum carrying in was Ryan Tierney, and he ends up skating into Cleary. Bit scary for a moment there. 12:07 to go in the third period. 3-1, Falcons in front. Draw controlled by Salem, trying to get it out of the zone. Will finally do so, but immediately intercepted. Vicario taking it right away. He's not able to get much with it. DeRitter, the goal scorer for the Vikings, all the way back in the first period. It gave Salem a 1-0 lead, but it's been 3 in a row for Fitchburg since. Now Vicario is all by himself. All Vikings around him. Can't get a chance off, can't really blame him either. As it's dumped down, Holmes. Try to move it along, but it was knocked down by DeRitter. Tierney had his centering pass intercepted, but he got it back. Top of the slot, takes a shot, deflected out of play. 11:21 to go in the third. Draw will come to the left of McGrath. Got a number of saves for him right now on the official tally.
as McGrath currently sitting at about 29 saves, as he has done all that's been asked of him. Mostly everything has been asked of him so far in this game.
Once again, playing excellent hockey in goal, the junior from Worcester. Falcons have it back in their own end. Bergman looking for Forden, goes off his stick, gets it back. Forden up the right side, trying to use the speed burst. Ends up getting hip checked into the boards there. Nice winning of the puck there by Salem, but just for a brief moment. Fitchburg will push it back behind the Viking net. Now trying to find Bergman, hops over his stick. Salem trying to push back with numbers, but poked forward a bit too strongly, and Fitchburg will take it back. Murphy trying to deke around a defender. Joe Smith had none of it. Coyle now, red line, dump in for a change. Long stretch pass for the Falcons, trying to catch him out. Perry able to keep control of the puck. Perry got the shot, but it goes high over the netting. I think it was deflected there by the one Viking stick.
Impressive, he was able to get his body around that of a Viking, but unfortunately when it came time to take the shot, took a deflection up out of play. It'll still be an offensive zone faceoff for Fitchburg.
10:18 to go in the third, 3-1 Falcons. Draw one by the Vikings, brought around the boards to the near side, where it's picked up by Cam Ryan. Ryan on for Billy McGuinn. Keeps control of it, dumps it in. McGrath behind his own net will leave it. Falcons will hold here for a moment. Now they'll get it started. It's Joff Lamore. Bring it up to the red line. That's as far as they get, taken back there by Derek Scoggins. Try to bring it to the right side, nothing going. That's Boomer Miller, Falcons fourth line out there. With the dump in, Scoggins around to the near side for Cam Ryan. Go back behind the net. We passed the halfway point in this third period. Salem's gonna be hungry for goals, down by 2. Ciolin has got the goal in this third period. He dumps it in. Cleary behind his cage. Around to the near side, but Ciolin picks it up. Spits it out to the far side. Salem gets on top of that. Medalev dumps it back in. Falcons have to tag. Cousior does. Will go after it. Salem just trying to get their wits about themselves as they gain the red line and move in. Brandon Wolf on the right side. Wolf holding in the corner. Tries to center for Hofford. Cousior getting in the way of that. Ciolin around the boards again. To the near side, held in at the left point. Shot goes well wide off the stick of Kyle Waldusky. On the right side, it's going to be cleared down the ice. And icing will be called as Cleary doesn't bother to put his glove up. So we'll have a draw to one side of McGrath again. But Salem really having trouble really sustaining offensive zone pressure here in this third period.
Yeah, just Fitchburg's done a good job of clamping down and getting it out of the zone whenever Salem seems to have some sort of sustained offensive pressure or presence. And Fitchburg, they're doing everything they need to in this third period here to close it out, including adding on that insurance goal from Ciolin.
Now, what have we here?
On timeout.
We're going to have a timeout here with 8:33 to go in the third. All right, seemed like an odd time for one, but okay. Have an out-of-town scoreboard. Tim, why don't you take it away?
Out-of-town scoreboard. There's 2 other games going on today in the MASCAC. Only one of them currently underway. That's Plymouth State and Westfield State, the 2 other teams currently sitting atop the MASCAC. Plymouth with 13 points through 8 conference games played at 6-1-1. Westfield with 12 points with 8 conference games played at 5-1-2. For that game, you would not be able to guess that those 2 records are close in the standings. Plymouth walloping Westfield right now, 4-0, just 3.5 minutes into the second period.
Yep. And Westfield's goalie Thierry Maservier, a former Plymouth State Panther, but he's not having a fun time back in his former home rink.
No, as we already have 2 goals from Miles Abbott for the Panthers, as he scored one in the third period most recently for Plymouth. Shots on goal in that game so far, 19-10 in favor of the Panthers. Servier with 15 saves, save percentage at 78.9%.
He came into this contest second in save percentage in the MASCAC, and that save percentage, which was pretty close to McGrath, around 940, that's going down. Here's Kuzior into the zone, shot! Goes just over the net, tried to snipe it far down, got a little too high. So we come out of the timeout there and sent around the boards to the far side, picked up by Trevor Mallett. The two Falcons pinning him into the boards, trying to poke it free and get it out of the zone, and they will do just that. Waldusky around the boards again, and Medalev around for Shanley, I think, or maybe that's Joshua Miller. That's a long stretch pass. Bergman gets his stick on it, just barely knocking it down at the blue line, killing the icing. This DeRitter will send that down. This will be icing. So we'll have a draw to one side of Cleary. What's the other game tonight?
The other game facing off later tonight is going to be Framingham. They're going to be facing off against, as I have to pull it back up, Worcester State. That'll be in Worcester, a 7:10 start time. So that game's set to go in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Framingham still looking for their first win in conference play.
That's right.
And Worcester's coming off a 4-1 loss to UMass Dartmouth, who have the night off.
Yes, Worcester currently sitting in the conference, 5th in the conference at 3-5. 6 points for the Lancers.
Shot whistles wide of the cage from the left point for Fitchburg. Sent down the ice, and Holmes will get it, stick on it. Now loose in the center circle. Bouthiet feeds Forden on the right side. Forden able to get to it. Shake off Waldusky. In the left corner. 7 minutes to go in this contest. The Falcons holding a 3-1 lead. And brought up by DeRitter on the left side. Behind the net it'll go. Into the right side for Tierney. Around to Pepin at the left point. Pepin with that shot through traffic. Didn't get all the way through. Now turned over and a shot. And a save by McGrath. What the blocker. Puck lost at center. And Salem starting to get their wits about him in this third period. A lot of good chances for the orange and blue. Falcons able to pull it out of the zone, and here's Wilmshurst. Wilmshurst trying to get around the defender in Pepin, but pokes it towards goal, and Cleary will take no chances. 6:16 to go in the third, 3-1 Fitchburg. Shot still favoring the Falcons. The unofficial board, 36-26. The official tally, what do we got?
40-31.
There you are. As Ryan on the left side, knocked off the stick by Lamore. Good poke there from the freshman defender from Nova Scotia. Bouthiet gets tangled up. There's a hold. Last thing Salem needed was to take a penalty there. And committing the crime is Michael Shippey, his second penalty of the season. The freshman from Seattle, Washington, will sit for 2 minutes or less.
And that is frustrating for Salem. You said it. Came at a bad time. They were building some momentum as the last few minutes it was looking a bit tilted. Ice was looking in favor of the Vikings, but now man advantage for Fitchburg. Chance to tilt it right back the other way.
Second time tonight, Gene Bouthiet's drawn a penalty. Boarding was the official call there. As Perry will take it back in his own end. After was cleared out. Lamore being harassed there by Dan Shea. Strong penalty killer for the Vikings. Murphy brings it up to the center circle and no farther. Shea will bring it back into his own zone. Nearly lost it for a moment. Now Salem will clear. Lamore able to get his hand up and knock it down. Keep him from having to go all the way down the ice. Rimmed around the boards to the near side. As Perry gets a hold of it. Now for Murphy. Spins around in the corner. Off the boards to Perry. 70 seconds on the power. 5:08 to go in the third. 3-1 Fitchburg. It comes to the far side. Forden top of the slot. Right side, one-timer. That one wouldn't go. Behind the net, and now for Murphy on the left half boards. Murphy tried to get the shot off, but it was blocked. Falcons just trying to contain the Vikings and Tierney, preventing him from getting a breakaway. 40 seconds to go on the power play. These legs have got to be tired on both sides.
And both units been out there the whole time so far, just 30 seconds to go.
A lot of ice time for these units, as that one deflects off a Viking defender off the side of the net. Scary for a moment. Lamore puts one towards goal, knocked down in front, didn't have a lot of pace on it. Murphy have a go, that one stopped by Cleary. 13 seconds to go on the power play. Tied up in the left circle, Vicario behind the net. Keeps control of the puck. McGrath slams the stick to indicate the penalty's about to expire. As they get a shot off as the penalty expires from Borden, but Cleary able to make the stop. Vikings are now back to full strength as Shippey has been released from the sin bin. Kuzior lancing it forward and blowing a tire there was a Viking. Falcons with a bit of a chance here, and Kuzior will pick it up on the left side. Now Boomer Miller behind the net. Center's in front, but that's the wrong side. Kuzior can't get a stick on it. A shot from through traffic, stopped by Cleary. Second chance from Medalev. And that one cut down in front, maybe got to Cleary. Now in the right corner, 3:20 to go. Miller, Boomer with the shot. That climbed too high up the ladder. Shot from the left point, cut down in front. And Salem just trying to push it up ice. Around the boards, Medalev. Knocked along on the far side and flipped down the ice into the Viking zone. Shanley tries to take it off the stick of Pepin as players go scrambling on both sides. And Cleary's coming off for the extra attacker now. A shot from Yannikopoulos blocked out in front, and a whistle with 2:45 to go in the game. And Cleary's going to come back.
Tripping to call, oh, this is going against Fitchburg here. Boomer Miller is going to go to the box.
And you can imagine Cleary is going back to the net because with the penalty kill, the Falcons would have free shots at the empty net. And since they have a natural advantage, they're not going to try to play fancy with that. And now we'll have the other timeout called. Each team gets a timeout to use in regulation. If you use your timeout in regulation and the game goes to overtime, you get your timeout back. That's a new rule that went in this year.
All right.
But both it just makes it so now teams will be more willing to use their timeout in regulation. 2:45 to go in this contest, and the Vikings getting their fourth power play of the night.
Yeah, and timeout called here by Salem. They're going to have to talk this over. You raise an interesting point. Salem, they want to have as big a man advantage as possible, and if they were to pull the goalie now on the power play, it would give them that 6-on-4 advantage. But then you mentioned Fitchburg on the penalty kill. That opens up the door for them to take pot shots down at the empty net on the other side of things. So Salem needs to weigh their options here. Do they want to pull Cleary? And it looks like they do. They have 6 skaters on the ice now, as Cleary's going to go to the bench. They figure if the game's already lost with a Fitchburg goal, may as well take a shot with the extra man.
Goals for and goals against don't mean anything except for fancy statistics. So you lose 3-1, you lose 4-1, it counts the same all the same.
It does.
You might as well take the chance. These two coaches with a combined 75 years of experience. Dean Fuller, if he gets the win today, will have his 555th, will tie him for 19th all time. If the Vikings cannot hold on, it will be Bill O'Neill's 400th career loss. Draw won by the Vikings. Go point to point, shot through traffic, deflects wide. And for the Vikings, it'll be imperative to keep the zone, which they can't do there. Poked free by the Falcons. And now they'll try to double back as Salem now regains the zone. Coyle knocked up high in the air. Pinballs towards goal. McGrath battening down the hatches. Keeping that away. Perry will take a shot.
Nice keep.
Just barely kept in. Well done there by Salem. There's a great chance. Shot save, McGrath. Yannikopoulos had the shot from the right circle. Now from the left one, that one ricochets out of play. 2:02 to go in the third, 1:18 on the power.
And what a stop at the blue line there by Yannikopoulos, as he just got the stick back in time to keep the offensive zone opportunity alive for Salem. That saved so much time. Otherwise, you got to wait for 5 more jerseys to get out of the zone. And of course, Salem didn't score on the opportunity, but it kept power play alive for them. Now they have another face-off in the offensive zone. Still plenty of time on the power play, plenty of time on the game clock. 2:02 to go in the game.
Draw comes to the right of McGrath. And Yannikopoulos can't keep it in, and it goes all the way down. Zerbe's going to try to race this one down, with 4 Vikings surrounding him. Zerbe just playing keep away here. Perry pushes it forward, but now taken by the Vikings. And Joe Smith rims it around. Medalev trying to stop it there. He's the only Falcon skater without a point this season. I bet you he'd like one, especially with the net unoccupied 190 feet away from him. But nonetheless, Salem now able to reset and regroup. Smith in the left circle, cross ice. Not a clean feed to Callum Hofford. Yannikopoulos at the point. Now Smith takes the shot, deflects wide, went off a skate. Hofford on the right side, 25 on the power. That one intercepted. Medalev was going for it, but it goes off a body in front. Pops up in the air, stays in the zone. Smith across to Hofford on the right side. Now for Yannikopoulos, 10 seconds on the power play for Salem, and now we're just 50 seconds in the game. This penalty is going to expire as Miller is released from the box. The Falcons back to full strength, but still a man advantage for Salem. 6-on-5 with Cleary on the bench. Smith with the shot, deflects over the net. Bouthiette will flip it down the ice, going for the empty net, gonna miss wide by about 10 feet to the left. And with the penalty over, no more free shots. That's an icing.
And I mean, it's been good sustained pressure from Salem so far, but of course, sustained pressure, that doesn't get you anything on the scoreboard. You want to get goals. You want to be able to follow through on this pressure, and they haven't been getting clean shots on net. That's what's been tough. All the shooting lanes been clogged by Fitchburg. They've done an excellent job of preventing that. Salem just doing a good job mounting zone time.
Draw to the left of McGrath. Won by the Vikings. As Hofford kept it in the zone, tried to backhand it along. Medalev trying to clear it. That one does come out of the zone. This is Vicario. Bouthiette tips it into the zone. 13 seconds left. Salem probably only time for one more rush. Let's try to get a goal on. Hofford gains the zone, flips it in. McGrath will settle it down. He goes for it. Why not? Didn't get a lot on it, but that's going to bring it into this game. For the second time this year, the Falcons beat the Salem State Vikings by a score of 3-1.
I personally, as a goalie growing up, I love to see McGrath taking a shot at it there. That's something I always wished I could have tried growing up. But Fitchburg, I mean, otherwise, McGrath got to be happy with the result, happy with the way he played, allowing 1 goal. Final save total for McGrath on the night, making a total of 33 saves for him as he was lights out in this one. Fitchburg altogether good. I mean, a slow start to the game as we took a look at it. Salem jumping out to that 1-goal lead, but then Fitchburg grabbing the lead by the end of that first period. Then they added on that 3rd goal before the end of the game with Seolin snipe from the right wing. And from there, I mean, with the way Fitchburg played, Salem certainly had their chances, but this was Fitchburg's game, it felt like.
Salem had the opening momentum. They were out shooting the Falcons 9-3. They got the opening strike from Spencer DeRitter, but that was the first mistake the Falcons made. It was the last mistake the Falcons made. From there, the Falcons were able to take control of the contest, get 2 goals in the first, get another goal in the third from Seolin, and the Falcons come away with a big 3-1 victory to keep pace with the teams at the top of the conference in Plymouth and Westfield.
Of course, and we'll take a look at the standings in a moment, but also something certainly worth noting as the goaltender Sean Cleary for Salem State, an outstanding game for him. 44 saves on 47 shots faced. Of course, keeping a save percentage at .936, that's an excellent save percentage by any standard. But like Fitchburg, but like we were saying, Salem should try and do against Fitchburg. Just Fitchburg, the sheer volume of shots they put on Cleary made it difficult for him to stop all of them. And as a result, Fitchburg got on the scoreboard more times than Salem. And end of the day, at least according to the rule books, that gets you a win.
And that gets you 2 points in the standings. The Falcons will happily take that to race up to a record of 5-1-2 in conference play, and 12 points puts them in a tie with Westfield. But Westfield right now in progress against Plymouth and not doing so well in that one. Plymouth looking like they're going to be the team to beat again in the MASCAC, but the Falcons probably have the best shot at making an argument there.
Yeah, so when it's all said and done tonight, Fitchburg, they now sit at 8 games played with 12 points. With Westfield in the midst of their 9th game now, they also sit at 8 games played with 12 points. And so they currently sit tied while that Plymouth-Westfield game is progressing. But if we look again at the score of that game, Plymouth, again, still in front. Now a 5-0 lead for the Panthers with about 5 minutes to go in the second period. So it's looking like, even though there's still a whole nother 25 minutes of play, that they'll hold on to it. Plymouth not the kind of team, from my understanding, to give up a 5-0 lead. And so it should be interesting to see how this top of the MASCAC is going to shake down. Like you said, Plymouth looks like they'll be the team to beat. Already still a point ahead of Fitchburg. And by the end of tonight should remain 3 points ahead as they came into today looking.
Indeed, and so for Thierry Masservier, looks like he's played so well against Plymouth State, looks like he's run out of luck here today. And for the Falcons, looking at their schedule moving ahead, they're taking on Framingham on Thursday, 5 days time. That game on January the 23rd, 7 o'clock start here from the Civic Center before they have to travel down to Amelia Park in Westfield to take on the Owls. A 5:35 start from there because weird start times is what they do down there in Westfield. And for Salem State, their next contest will be 5 days from today from the Rocket Arena in Salem. They'll host the Corsairs of UMass Dartmouth, a 7 o'clock start, before they travel down to Framingham and Loring Arena to take on the Rams. A 12:50 p.m. start, a matinee there on Saturday. A week from today, it'll be an interesting start time. See if the Vikings can get up early for that one. But nonetheless, for the Vikings, they will fall to 2-11-2 as this nightmare season continues for them. Probably one of the worst they've ever had under Bill O'Neill. Just been a rough go of it for them. The Falcons now up to 8-5-2, and with this majority underclassmen roster, the Falcons continue to excel.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I keep saying over the course of a season. If you've listened to my broadcast on the Falcon Sports Network with this team, I just can't. I'm very happy to see how this freshman team has come into itself. They've been playing well together. They've grown together. They're a mature group. They're playing, I think, to their abilities. And I don't know how many people expected this with a team as young as this to be one of the top in the MASCAC and one of the certainly in the mix in regards to contenders. So certainly this has been an exciting team all season long so far. Looking forward to how they're able to play it down the rest of the season. Although I think the big question, of course, for this Fitchburg team the rest of the way is going to be, how are they going to be able to handle Plymouth? I mean, we're looking now at how another MASCAC contender in Westfield has been facing off against them, and they're currently being throttled 5-0, now 6-0 against Plymouth. And so, I mean, already twice this season, Fitchburg having faced off against Plymouth, a 2-2 tied most recently on the 11th of January, but lost earlier in the season 4-1. You could argue they grew from there, and it's now a 2-2 tie. I suppose progressing in the right direction. You don't want to tie them to start off and then lose big. So we'll see how they're able to finish off the rest of the season. Still plenty of games to play for everybody. Still plenty of time for any team's dynamic to change as the season winds on.
Indeed, with this triple round robin conference play, 18 games, you play each team 3 times, 6 teams for a total of 18 games. It tends to be a bit of a grind, but it tends to give us a good idea who's good and who's not. For everyone here at FATV and for Tim Foley, my name is Daniel Bolak. We thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. Until then, so long from Fitchburg.